Hello, my name's Linda Martin and I'd like to show you one of the products that we use a lot now in egg art. These are Lumiere paints. They're actually designed as fabric paints, but I've discovered some really neat uses for them. Now, some time ago we purchased a stand manufacturing business. We now have more than one, and this is one of the little stands that we make. This is ideal for a duck egg. Very cute. But just look at the detail. Can you see these tiny little flowers and all of this scroll work? Now we can do something really special with this using the Lumieres. So let's start. First of all, we're going to take a little tiny bit of pink. Just lift that onto the brush and then just very gently highlight the flowers. There we are. And you'll find that when you use these paints, they actually allow the gold to show through as well. So you get that lovely little glint of colour coming through. And if you've put too much on, just brush it off. Let's take another little bit of pink onto the brush. This is the Magenta Pearl Lumiere. A really pretty pink. And of course with these paints you can add a touch of the colour to the white pearl one and get a very delicate colour. So you've got a tremendous amount of scope with these paints. Just in here there's a tiny little flower. Let's give that a little touch of paint as well. And on the other side. Okay, so that's the pink. Very simple. Now, we'll just pop that down for a second and open up the green. When you're opening these paints, they're sealed when they arrive, and you just need to lift that little plastic seal and very carefully peel that back. And I always just take off the surplus paint on the edge of the jar. So now I'm going to add a touch of green. And one of the things that I'm going to do is just flick the brush gently over the gold scrolls. There's a bit too much on there, so I'm just going to lift that off a little bit. We don't want it too heavy. Tiny touch more paint. You see that little glint of gold coming through. I'm not covering every single area because I don't want a fully coloured stand. I just want little touches here and there. There we are. Just take a little bit more off that one. This is almost a dry brushing technique where you have little paint on the brush and you just flick the brush over the raised areas just to add that little tinge of colour. And you can see in some areas where the gold is still coming through in the little grooves. Just one more touch and we're done. Okay, now you can, if you want to, colour the cup of the stand. There's really no need to do this because your egg is going to sit on there. You might just want a tiny little bit of green on the edge, just in case that shows once the egg is in position. You'll also notice that I'm using an acrylic brush. If you use an acrylic paint, you use an acrylic brush because it puts the paint exactly where you want it to go. Some people think that if you use sable brushes, because they're so expensive, that you're going to get a better job, but you use the appropriate brush for the appropriate paint. And there we have it. And here we have one just a little bit lighter in colour, which I did the other day. So there we have it, another use for the Lumiere paints, and they really have embellished our stands beautifully. You try it, see what you can do.